Hello members, Tim Huber, Director of Agronomy here with Kurt Bowman, our golf course architect, and we are at the Nicklaus driving range in the midst of our big project here, and I have Kurtis here on site to talk a little bit about what is going on and kind of the vision that he has for the new practice area. The range tees are kind of self-explanatory. They're getting to be about 75,000 square feet up from about 60, so we're gaining plenty of ground there. And I'd like to introduce Kurtis.
Thank you, Tim. Yeah, so thank you for having me. Behind me, as you may be able to see in the camera, we have the new chipping green. This will be the first of 2 chipping greens on the property. In phase 2, a second one will be built in the far end of the practice area. What we tried to do here was maximize the space that we had available, allow the members for a quick warm-up before the rounds. We have 3 major angles that you can play into this chipping green. The first is from this side, the second is from the far side of it, and then the third is more of a short-sided shot. And we also have 2 bunkers, very similar to what you'll encounter on the golf course. The design of this chipping green was loosely inspired by the 4th green, because we really wanted to build something very similar to the style that you would find on the golf course. As Tim mentioned, on the driving range tees, the idea was to modernize those, give the members enough square footage, and Tim the square footage that he can be able to spread the wear and provide better turf conditions for the golf course.
Kurtis, let me ask you, from our old chipping area to this one, how do you feel the old one compares to this new one for the members?
That's a good question. So the old one was much smaller. You couldn't play it into it from as many angles, and the green was actually smaller than the bunkers around it. So what we have now is we have some smaller bunkers, but it's enough that you can still hit a few warm-up bunker shots on this end. The depth will be similar to what you find on the golf course. The size of the green is similar to what you would find on the golf course, and then the style in which the green will be shaped and the surrounds also will be the style of the golf course. So you'll really be able to dial in your golf game at a chipping green that is the exact same character that you will find on the golf course.
Great, thanks. And what do you think the yardage will be that close to short? What do you feel like you can get there?
Yeah, I think if you go from the far end of this fairway before you get to the landform that kind of bisects this and the putting green, and you played it to the back pin, you might be up to 60 to 70 yards. I think more likely there may be 2 pins on this, a front and a back. So I think the majority of shots on this side would probably be in the 30 or 40 yard range. And then on the far side of the chipping green, we don't have quite as much fairway approach there, but depending on what flag that you're playing on the green, you could still probably play up to a 40-yard shot. And then on the left side of the chipping green, as you see over here, we have a low area. There's a few bunkers, and that would be more like a short-sided shot like you'd encounter on a golf course, for example, maybe at number 13, where you practice a little of a flop shot to a tucked pin. So I think every shot the golfers will encounter on the golf course, they will be able to practice it at this chipping green.
Great, let's check out the putting green. Members, we're back here at the putting green, just from a short walk over from the chipping green here, and Kurtis is just going to walk us through kind of his thoughts on placement of the green, size of the green, and contours.
Yeah, so as you'll notice, the putting green is now in a new location. The reason we did that was to try to maximize the space available that we had on the practice area to make improvements. So the putting green slid to this area so we would have more approach and space for the chipping green on the left side of the range. So when you see the putting green now, we've maximized the space a little larger than what we had before. It's about 200 feet long now. The majority of that green will be pinnable areas, and again, the character of the green is similar to what you would find on the golf course. So if you're practicing putts there, you want to dial in your speed before you're on the golf course, you're going to encounter the same pitch and slope in the green, the putting green, that you would find on the golf course.
Great, I'm excited. And I know there's probably been some questions as you all have driven past the area. The huge hole that's behind me there was a berry pit where we stuck all the old drainage, bunker liners, sod that came off the range, stuff that is very difficult to haul off a site. So they dug a berry pit and they're using the dirt there to help shape some of the surrounds. And then behind Kale, who's videoing, we have a giant mountain of sand. That pile of sand came off the range T-tops. A little bit finer than we like. We're going with a more coarse sand for better rooting on the tees. So all that sand will be now sand capping for what the surrounds will be on the putting green and chipping areas. So we look forward to this week. If the weather stays dry, we're going to install some mainline irrigation, some mainline drains, and the progress of the project will progress very quickly. Thanks.